So it happened again. For some unspecified reason, the MGM or Paramount or whatever PR agency is not releasing only the teaser for the upcoming episode, they're also every week releasing to us some kind of a new small teaser for the whole season. And obviously this is a spoiler one. Now it's an official teaser, so there are no huge spoilers like we had last year where some fucking loser actually spoiled that Jim is gonna die and Smiley's gonna come back. Whoever this was, I hope a piano will fall on his head. But this is an official one, so it does reveal some interesting things, but it also doesn't reveal some major events. So if you are afraid of all spoilers, this video is probably not for you. But if you're willing to watch trailers for the upcoming season, most likely you're not gonna get disappointed after watching this teaser. Anyway, I said my disclaimer, so right now what happens next is already your responsibility. If you don't want to watch, you're more than welcome to switch off, and I'm gonna see you tomorrow in my review of the episode 3. But if you are, let's dive into this teaser. I already did a live stream about this as soon as it got out, but then it was really released in very good quality, so I decided to make a video again. And we also have some new material about upcoming episode that's gonna be released tomorrow, so I'm gonna discuss this too. Let's dive in.
It's time to play.
I went looking for answers and I found answers. This is our shot.
This is where you make your stand.
The man in yellow's back. It could all be happening again.
What do you want from me?
First of all, I gotta say, it looks like Harold Perrineau is shooting on Emmy this year, and hopefully he will get it. He's been carrying this show. I mean, there are great actors, but what he's doing here is an absolute masterpiece. I think he is portraying one of the best acting skills I have ever seen in a TV show, and I'm not saying this lightly. I mean, let's be honest, it's not the most budgeted TV show. It's not the A+++ list TV show like The Boys right now, even though in my opinion they're way worse than From, or even Severance that we also cover on this channel, that is also a mystery-based show where we have giants like Christopher Walken, etc. But Harold Perrineau is doing an incredible job. Even in the teaser, he made me cry already in season 4, and it looks like it's just a start. But you're here for the mysteries, for the links and clues and evidence, so let's start. First we have scene here with Boyd. He is walking in the forest and he is very determined. I think it's connected to the scene in the end of this teaser, like this one. He is screaming here, "What do you want from me?" And it looks like this is the same location, right? It's the same forest, and he's screaming at the air, so he's screaming at this place. Or is it also a conversation with God? If you remember, I think in episode, I don't remember exactly the episode, I think even season 1 or season 2, he had a conversation with God, telling to him like, you can go F yourself, what is going on here, what is this place, what are those monsters, why did you kill Father Kadri, what is this supposed to mean? And if my friend would be here, he would say that you work in mysterious ways, but it looks like you're working in asshole ways so far. So maybe this is once again a conversation with God here. Anyway, this is not the most interesting part, because as soon as we have those kind of a close-up shots, everything is blurry on the background and we barely can understand what's going on. But this is a very interesting scene. We can see Sophia here is leaning again on somebody, very similar to what she did to the pastor in episode 1. And if you remember how this ended, probably this person that she is saying to "it's time to play" is not gonna end up well. Now, if we're looking at the location, this is the shed where Boyd was taking the instruments to torture Elgin in the end of season 3. So this is where they keep the instruments, tools, etc. And we have this image from Rotten Tomatoes, a preview to episode 6, and it looks like Sophia in this image is drinking something with Henry. Now, if this is the same scene, okay, then it's probably not a very good news for Henry. Now, if they're gonna kill Henry, I'm gonna be pissed. And it's not like I think it's a very bad script-wise turn. It's just like, I mean, come on. Poor Victor. The guy had to bury his mom and his sister when he was 13. Then he stayed for almost 40 years by himself in this place. God knows what he went through. And then after so much time, like 3/4 of his life, he was alone, and then finally he gets a dad for his last years. Apparently what he has left, like 10, 20 years in Fromville, way less, but he's been taken away from Victor, what, after a couple of days together? This is mean. This is beyond Kenny level mean. I mean, you tortured Kenny, but this is gonna be even way worse than this. Anyway, but what did you think about this moment? Is it actually Henry and she's saying to him it's time to play, which once again creates those similarities and with the monsters, because they're usually the ones who want to play. I want to play, let's play, I love this game. They're always about a game.
I like this game.
But I want to play!
And it's very interesting because there's this popular theory that it's all some kind of a game between two different forces or more different forces, 2, 3, 4. They're playing a game with figures or tarot cards. This is a tarot theory. And looks like it can be possible, even though Sophia was telling to the pastor that he's part of a very important story. So far it's like a story, a game, but a game can be also a story. So maybe it's both. Anyway, moving forward, and we can see that Sophia, I love it when she turns into her sinister self. And we have, this is a very interesting moment. We have Smiley here walking in the bus. Look at the lightning. It's kind of very red, right? What is it? It's obviously the sign from the diner. The diner has this very strong red light. And he's walking towards somebody. Who may it be, you may ask? Let's move forward. We can see that he is about to attack somebody. He's turning into a monster. By the way, the CGI improved drastically here. It looks way better. And this is the scene that kind of feels connected to it. I mean, we usually see Boyd when he's walking with his ring and he's ringing to everybody, you need to go inside. It usually happens earlier in the day, and here it's almost nighttime. You can see it, it's already very dark, the lights are on, there are barely any people outside, and Boyd is very determined, and this scene, it doesn't feel to me like the random scene of let's just show Boyd walking around and then move on to something else. It feels like a preparation towards something. Maybe I'm just connecting here something that's not connecting at all, but it kind of feels like this color structure, the color vibe. Maybe it's my editing experience here talking, but I think it's the same scene. I think this is the night where Smiley is gonna go into the bus and gonna chase somebody. So we have this moment from the trailer with Jade going through the caves. We've seen this one. I'm not gonna put too much time on it, but he's saying here, and this is from a different scene, that he went looking for answers and I found answers. We have a close-up on Boyd, nothing important here, he just looks a little bit terrified, a little bit shocked, so probably some kind of a revelation. And so far season 4 was very generous on revelations for us. We have just only 2 episodes and it's been already a lot of answers and a lot of new information. Now this is obviously episode 1, I'm not gonna spend way too much time on it. We remember this is Fatima and we have here Jade, and once again I'm betting this is already episode 5, 6, 7, maybe even later than that. He has different clothes, it's sunny outside, it's summertime, the winter is over, it's time to celebrate and go to the beach, or maybe go to the Brundles, aka the Lake of Tears. No, I'm kidding. I don't think the Brundles is the Lake of Tears. Maybe it's a gateway to the Lake of Tears. Anyway, we have this moment from the previous episode, so let's move to the next scene. We're gonna have finally another conversation between Katri and Boyd. Usually when Katri appears, I have something to work with. He's not just appearing and saying completely useless shit and disappearing. Usually he has a couple of pieces of information that we can implement in our theories and build new ones on it. So I'm very excited about this. It looks like it's taking place in the post office, whatever is gonna happen here. It gives me the vibe of, you know, all those epic movies when there's Braveheart or Aragorn and they're about to give a speech and Katri is saying to Boyd that this is where you make your stand. This is the time, no more running away. This is where you attack. This is where you become active. This is where you do something that breaks this circle, this cycle of violence of this place. And I think that this moment is actually a culmination of what we have seen from the beginning with, you know, Smiley in the bus. So, my opinion, what happens here is finally Boyd's plan from previous season that kinda disappeared and was forgotten to actually trap and capture one of the Smileys, one of the Frombies, is gonna be finally put into play.
I'm gonna need your help with something tomorrow. We're gonna catch one of these fucking things.
And it looks like they're gonna need the volunteers, somebody to be bait. Now, who can it be? It needs to be someone young and athletic. So what kind of possibilities we have here? It's either Alice or Kenny. Now, if you remember Kenny, he already wanted to go and burn all the monsters and sacrifice himself. When Boyd was having worms, he switched off like this. He was putting the gun at him and telling him to stop bullshitting around and give his blood to Alice, but as soon as he realized that there are actually worms, he was willing immediately to, sacrifice himself and take the worms from Boyd and take this curse on him. So it also kind of makes sense to me because, Kenny doesn't have anything to lose anymore and Alice kinda does. So I think, yeah, Kenny volunteered himself to be a bait for Smiley. He's gonna wait for him in the bus, and as soon as Smiley is gonna enter, Kenny's probably gonna leave through the window or maybe through some kind of a hole in the ceiling here, and it looks like he's standing here on something tall. It's probably the bus. You can see that the motel here sign is behind him, the colony house is behind him. And he has this, epic, sexy look here. He's like standing, breathing. He's, he's shooting to become like a fan favorite for all the women there. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm obviously into women, but is it getting hot in here or is it just me? So I think what happens is they actually gonna trap Smiley inside of the bus. They're gonna lock him in, they're gonna put a talisman and see if he can actually leave. Now, maybe this plan is actually not gonna work because we can see him, attacking everybody and he's outside. But also it can be just before he's entering the bus. Anyway, we're gonna have to wait and see, but once again, I'm super excited for this season. Things are happening. They're not just sitting around, they're not having stupid conversations like in episode 5 of season 3 when all the dumbest people on earth were gathered in the diner and were like, why didn't you do this, why did you do this, why did you do this, why did you talk to the police about the magical place where monsters come outside? Maybe because police is not Sophia and they're probably not gonna believe it just if you tell them that monsters exist. So yeah, let's move on. We have another interesting moment. Boyd is going somewhere with a sledgehammer and we can see this moment when he's about to break one of the old walls. Now, if you remember, in Fromville we have a couple of buildings that they are way older than the rest. We have the buildings from the 50s, 60s, as Jade put it on his cardboard box, but there are some buildings like the church, like the ruins where Martin was held, like the cellar where Fatima was held, like the lighthouse, and like the cellar in the colony house where Julian Elgin found the Polaroid. And it looks like all of them are connected somehow. In my video that I made more than a year ago, I had a theory that all of those places are connected to the caves somehow. We have seen that there is a secret passage from the cellar where Fatima was held. In the ruins where Julie was story walking, she went from Martin's chamber straight to the caves. When Boy in White was talking to Christopher, we can see that there's some kind of a door behind them, and we never seen this door again. And it looks like here, once again, Boyd is about to break the wall and find something behind it. Like there's gonna be something hidden there. Whatever's hidden there, I mean, I'm gonna have a field day on it and I'm probably gonna make a lot of videos about this and I'm super excited. Once again, we are getting forward. We are moving forward. We're getting so many answers and the creators are not slowing down. They're just picking up the pace with every episode this season. And I'm super excited. We've been waiting for years for this moment. So yeah, this is very interesting. Now there's this moment. It's probably connected to the same moment that we have seen in the trailer where Henry is grabbing his head. This is where they find the drawing of the man in yellow. And this is why Victor is saying the man in yellow is back. So chronologically, probably Victor is saying that the man in yellow is back after they found the clothes. In the trailer, we have seen them finding the clothes that he left there in episode 1, and then he remembers that there is a drawing, and he goes and finds the drawing, and then Henry realizes something. Now, what is he realizing? People saying sometimes that Henry is a double agent, he's a mole, he's not there to help anybody, but this is not a reaction of somebody who is there to hurt someone. This is actually a reaction of somebody who realizes something detrimental to their lives. Like, living in lie for all of your life, like realizing that maybe it was all your fault, that maybe you knew something, that maybe you could have prevented the biggest horror that happened to you. This is not a reaction of, oh my god, I forgot milk outside of my fridge and it's now spoiled. This is, oh my god, the man in yellow was my neighbor, or Miranda was telling me how to get out of this place, or whatever was happening here is actually somehow my fault. I don't know exactly how, but this is a very, very detrimental discovery for him. This is something that is so hard to accept, that your physical movements are becoming something like this. Now there's obviously very interesting moment where we have this moment with Jim. This is his murder in the end of season 3. We can see that this is exactly the same location, the same black spot here behind Tabitha and behind Jim. Now behind her there are some drawings. It could be a vision of some sort, like this is not really happening with her. I, by the way, not really sure if this is the hand of Sophia or actually the hand of the man in yellow. I don't know exactly, it doesn't feel either female or male to me. I don't see any super distinction here, but the drawings, this is the interesting part. I've been talking about this for months already. The vision that Ethan was having in episode 2 or episode 1 of season 1, when he was talking about the spider that came down from the ceiling, something was driving me insane. If he has actually seen the inside of Victor's room, because he's saying there's a drawing on the wall, there are so many drawings on the wall, and they're actually showing us Victor's room with many drawings on the wall. But Ethan is saying to Jim that you were there, and Mom was there, and and Julie.
And we were all there in the drawings. You and me, and Mom, and Julie.
And I'm like, how is that even supposed to work? Victor doesn't even know that you exist. How could he draw you? And during the TV show, we have seen Victor drawing Julie in episode 3, and then he had a image of Ethan, but I don't remember, and I did a big deep dive on Victor's drawings, him actually drawing Mom and Dad, Jim and Tabitha. And it kind of looks like Jim and Tabitha, even though I don't remember Jim wearing a blue shirt. Maybe it's actually Henry and Miranda when they were younger. I mean, Henry used to have probably long hair. They used to be hippies, you remember? This is kind of, comes with the job. So this is probably somehow connected to the vision. Now, I have a couple of ideas. Maybe it's actually real, and this is not a vision, and Ethan and Victor are about to go on a journey. This is actually going to happen in next episode, and they're maybe going to use this RV as their base. Like, this is where they're going to put some images, and they're going to start researching. But we're gonna see something very interesting a little bit later. Now, the drawing of the house, the greenhouse, and the yellow tree, once again the yellow tree, I don't know, I'm not there yet to say to you that the tree is gonna create the man in yellow and he's gonna come out from the leaves and this is why it's yellow. Sometimes, trees have yellow leaves, and sometimes children draw trees with yellow color. It doesn't necessarily have to mean something, but if it's there, it's probably have some kind of a meaning. Now, it would be easier for me to actually come to some conclusions as soon as we're actually gonna see the other drawings, because we can see there is something behind Tabitha here. Super excited, super excited. Looks like every episode is gonna give me a lot of information and a lot of basis to actually build more theories on. It's incredible. I'm super happy. Now there is this moment with Tabitha hearing the phone that is obviously not supposed to work, and we remember when Jim was hearing the phone, it was Thomas. Fake Thomas, obviously, not a real one, because he was telling Jim they're not your kids anymore, which is obviously not something that his real child would do, and his real child died as an infant. He's not supposed to be speaking at all. Now, this is either Jim or, once again, fake Thomas, somebody who is about to terrorize Tabitha, break her even more. And it kind of made me think. I actually was speculating about this already for a while. Now, this phone, if you remember the ring, this is something that Tabitha used to hear in her vision in episode 9 of season 1 when she was walking in the lighthouse. Now, if this situation where Thomas actually died when they were distracted by the phone call is not connected to Fromwell at all, like there is no connection, why would it be in her vision, in her dream, which we now know was kind of prophetical? She actually saw Jim was hanging from the ceiling, screaming, trying to grab a light, and this is eventually very similar how she found him when he is dead. So maybe, if this story repeats itself and the cycle is supposed to be as close as possible to each other, and we know that Miranda had 2 children, and maybe the original couple, whoever they were, also had 2 children, then, Thomas is really not fitting the formula. And killing the child, creating this kind of a trauma, both for Tabitha and Jim, creating this distress between them, which leads to a divorce eventually, and you have this psychological, psychiatric trauma even of losing a child, it kind of brings you in a very good condition to this place. You're already almost broken. Now you need just to push a little bit more and you will break her, like, completely here. And also now she has 2 children, 1 girl and 1 boy. Now there's also theory about Eloise being a story walker just like Julie, and it kind of makes sense if it's actually, something that's being transferred as bloodline, if every soul is being recycled here and have this, reincarnation cycle every time. So their daughter, this original couple, is always a story walker. And we know that Tabitha is having dreams of this little girl that is hiding behind rocks, and I've been saying this from season 3. It doesn't make sense to me that in your dream you're seeing yourself. In your dream you usually have a POV, you're seeing everything, but you still feel that you is you. So probably this girl is actually not Tabitha. I'm betting on it. I think it's their daughter, who also had an ability to story walk, or maybe she was somehow an originator of this ability. Anyway, I think that Thomas had a little bit of help from this place to actually die and to actually create this trauma for Tabitha and Jim and their family. This is a very interesting moment because we're gonna lose somebody, or they actually managed to kill Smiley again. The whole plan, let's trap him in a bath and he escapes, and then they find some way to actually kill him, and now it's final. Now they can actually fight the monsters. Or, which is probably most likely, we're about to lose one of the characters. We know that Jim and Pastor are gonna be buried. We've seen this in the trailer, and this is somebody who is being burned here. No, maybe this is somebody from the colony house. Maybe there's like this tradition, everybody who dies in town, they're being buried next to the church, and everybody who dies in the colony house, they're being burned. Who can it be? It's probably supposed to be not one of the extras. Like, we have seen extras being killed left and right in episode 7, in the beginning of season 2. Nobody, gave a shit about them. They are not getting any screen time to show that they're being burned or something like this. So it is someone important. And if we are correct in our speculations that this scene with Sophia, when she's leaning down probably on Henry and saying to him it's time to play, and it's probably something that he's not going to be able to tell anybody, because if he is, then her, whole game is going to be revealed. So can it be Henry? Once again, let me know what you think about this in the comments. Now we have here Jade losing his temper, and it's anything new here. Jade is angry at not getting answers. I don't see any super little details, interesting details here. It's just the bar, just a lot of bottles, a couple of, those numbers from probably the old tree. Like, we have the tree with the new numbers and the one that was probably from 1800s or 1700s. It looks like the old ones that Boyd was able to find with Sarah in the end of season 1. And we have this moment from the trailer. We have this moment that is connected to the moment from the trailer with Mariel seeing, for some reason, the chains. It's probably once again a setback to this moment in season 2 when she was trapped with Randall and Julie in this magical place. And since we have seen that Sophia gave this very interesting look to the ballerina statue there in the diner, I think it's not over with the musical box, and I think those visions and the cicadas and everything else is gonna make a little bit of reappearance this season, and probably we're gonna understand what the hell are they. And basically that's it. Now here, as I told you, Harold Perrineau shows us his rage. He's very angry, he's screaming, "What do you want from me?" And we have this moment from the trailer when he is being grabbed by his wife's dead body, which once again, like, this dude didn't have enough, right? He only needed to kill his wife to save his child. Now he's actually need to experience his dead wife grabbing him from the grave. Jesus Christ, they really want him to go to therapy, huh? So I don't know about you, but season 4 looks like it's gonna be the best season by far. And it is gonna be a best season because we had like a little bit of a slow 3 seasons. This, as John Griffin put it, it was the beginning of the end. So like season 3 basically, started to give us some understanding of this place, and now they're just going full forward, full speed, not slowing down. They need to give us answer for all of our questions, and we have a lot of them. Now, I promised you there are also a couple of new images. Finally, the Amazon Press website woke up after 2 weeks and just posted a little bit new images for episode 3, and there are some new in Instagram. So I want to also go through them, and most of them are not giving us absolutely anything, but there are some couple of interesting ones. So let's move there. So we have this image, we have seen this one before. This is Victor and Ethan. They're standing somewhere. Now there is this image from Instagram where we can actually see that they are standing next to Brundles. Now there's the theory that Brundles is actually Lake of Tears. Now it's kind of weird to me because Jim coming to Ethan and saying to him, you need to find the Lake of Tears, you can add small sentence by saying, by the way, it's Brundles, go there. But he decided not to do this, so it kind of doesn't make sense. Brundles feels like a happy place. Lake of Tears doesn't sound like a happy place, but it does feel a lot like where everybody is swimming, this is not the end for the water. Maybe it's going somewhere. Maybe my crazy theory that, you know, this Lake of Tears is being torn apart to different pieces, and this is why the lighthouse is there. Some part of the lake are here, some parts of the lake are there. Maybe it's actually have some kind of a truth in it, but once again, whatever this is, if they're going to Brundles, this is probably somehow connected to the Lake of Tears, because this is Ethan's quest now, and he's taking Victor as his companion. There's this image with Kenny talking to Sophia. Run, Kenny, run for your life, please. We are seeing on the background here Julie and Tabitha sitting and talking. This is probably, you know, we analyzed the teaser already. It's probably before the moment when Julie is telling to her, like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? What did you want to do? I want to just slap you, you stupid little bomb. Anyway, not many details as I told you. We have Henry and Tabitha going towards the bottle tree, and we have this interesting moment with Julie and Randall, and Julie is holding a rope. Now, the whole Julie-rope relationship is kind of legendary in the fandom, right? We've been asking ourselves who threw the rope to Boyd for a year and a half, and then we finally got an answer. But right now, I cannot really make a connection here. What is Julie about to do? Is she actually gonna go with the rope and try to throw it to somebody, to Boyd again, or what? She has already a plan how to take her out from the ruins. She needs to go with Randall all the time. Maybe they want to improve it somehow with the rope, so he will be able to drag her from there. I don't know. It just sounds a little bit like an overkill to me. But there's this image from Instagram where we can see Randall already, probably with the same rope. So whatever the plan is, once again, sign me up for it. I'm more than willing to watch it with you and hopefully experience it. No, I'm kidding. I don't want to experience Fromville. So let me just move quick past the new images. As I told you, Ethan here looks like a grown-up dude already. And this is definitely Brundles. We can see it on one of the chairs on the background. There is something here which I cannot really understand what the hell is that. If you have any idea, maybe just some kind of a piece of clothes or something like this. I don't know. We can see here Giga Chad in white is looking at Henry and Tabitha, and you know, the camera angle here is making him look even bigger than they are. So once again, it's just funny. And yeah, like once again, girls beware. He grew up and he's coming for you. So we have this moment with Sophia. I was thinking that she's holding Jim's bracelet. Crazy me, but it looks like she's just holding a cross. So whatever is gonna happen there, maybe, you know, what gonna make Julie angry is a conversation that he's right now in a better place or something like this. And you know, this is not something that you want to hear a day or like half a day after you lost somebody. This is not, just never say this to anybody who just lost somebody close to them that fast. It takes time. It takes a lot of time. And as I told you, they have Randall with a rope. I mean, what is going on with this TV show? I came in for the mysteries, and now we have Sophia here, and we have every other guy here is aura farming. I mean, this is not Euphoria, guys and girls. Could you relax? Like, I feel that my screen is flirting with me here. Anyway, moving on. So the bottle tree, and we have this image of Julie's looking at Sophia, and I'm so happy that Julie is not taking her shit and she's not buying her into her bullshit. Good, Julie, I believe in you, girl. Come on, expose that B. And we have Boyd and Kenny. We've seen this image, so Yay, Kenny and Boyd working together, back again. Anyway, this is it. This is all I have for you today, and I hope you enjoyed it. Tomorrow, it's a difficult day. Tomorrow, waking up early, watching the episode, and preparing a review. Because this is the most difficult, but it's also the most interesting day of the week right now. So I'm gonna see you tomorrow, and as usual, I want to thank everybody who supports me on Patreon and on YouTube members. Your donations and your financial support is what make this channel possible. I appreciate it beyond words. You make me more responsible and I'm more determined. I want to be sure that I will never disappoint your trust. Thank you so much. I'm gonna see you in the next one. Meanwhile, bye.